So I'm here at the Israel Museum in Jerusalem, and behind me is a model of Jerusalem in the Second Temple period, as this is where King Herod's Second Temple was standing. You should be able to see it where I'm pointing. And that's where the Western Wall is. So the Western Wall, or the Wailing Wall, is seen as like holy or sacred in today's time. But back in the Second Temple period, it was just a wall around Temple Mount, and the actual temple was in the middle. And the more you got into the center of that temple, the more holy it became. So the Holy of Holies was in the center of this temple. And as you can see, the wall is quite significantly far away from that most sacred part of the temple. So this is kind of what happens, right? Places that were never considered sacred in their actual times become sacred later for various reasons. In this case, the wall became sacred because it was the only structure remaining of the temple, and also it was accessible from the Jewish quarter that was established, I think, around the 16th century. And so that's why the Western Wall became sacred in like recent times. But it was just a wall. It was never sacred in First Temple or Second Temple times. So I will continue walking around. I mean, this is a really great site because it's kind of where Jerusalem's past meets its present, which meets its future, right? So normally when people construct models of historical periods or historical sites, it's just a historical curiosity. This is one of the rare cases, perhaps a unique case, where maintaining knowledge of the structure of a historical site is really important for the future. Jews want and expect a third temple to eventually be built, and the details or the specification of that third temple will, you would expect, closely mirror First Temple and Second Temple periods. So yeah, archives of the past and archives of details of First and Second Temple periods are absolutely critical. Now, it's also present because, I'll try and get a good angle here, but behind me you should be able to see, it's kind of hard to get a right angle. So behind me, that's the Knesset, that's the Israeli government building, and that's where you hope Israeli politicians will at some stage exert sovereignty over the Temple Mount. That's a critical stepping stone towards the building of a third temple on Jerusalem's Temple Mount. And so that's the Knesset behind me. And then you should also be able to see so this is the National Library here. And so you would hope that scholars from the Temple Institute and perhaps yeshivas, like study centers in Jerusalem, will study the writings of historians like Maimonides, the Rambam, and Flavius Josephus, also a critical Jewish historian of this period. You would hope they would study there, and so a combination of the Knesset and the National Library should be critical for the eventual building of a third temple. So that's the present. Hopefully you can see both of those. I mean, there's so many stories interlapping here, right? So there's a story of how this model got built. Before the Six-Day War, Jews didn't have access to a lot of the historical and religious sites in the old city of Jerusalem behind me. And so a archaeology professor at the Hebrew University in Jerusalem, teamed up with a owner of a hotel in Jerusalem to build this model, because they saw it as critical that Jews stayed connected with what Jerusalem used to look like in this Second Temple period. And by sleight of hand, or perhaps by divine intervention, once this model was completed, the Six-Day War happened a couple of years later, and then Jews did actually get access to the Western Wall and the Temple Mount. And so it kind of highlights how constructing a model of how things were or how you want them to be is kind of like a critical stepping stone towards actually getting to the end goal that you want to get to. In terms of the Second Temple behind me, so here, this took approximately 10 years to build in King Herod's time. The foundation of the Temple Mount took 7-8 years, and I think the actual temple took 1.5 years to build. So that gives an indication of, at least in ancient times, how long it would have taken to have built a temple of this size. The temple is approximately twice as high as what the Dome of the Rock currently is, sitting on Temple Mount. And the Western Wall that is accessible today is only like 10-20% of the size of the wall that stood back in these times. So yeah, a few interesting numbers there. This model took 4 years to build, but the actual Temple Mount foundation and the temple took in total 10 years to build. In King Herod's time, this is the time preceding Jesus Christ's life for Christians, so this is the old city of Jerusalem as Jesus Christ would have known it. But yeah, so many interlocking stories, and it's just so fascinating how storylines from the past, the present, and hopefully the future interlock and intertwine.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the